punch the recruiter in the face with like what you trying to get across. Now, I think I was kind of surprised when you told me like not everybody shows up for the internship.
They
So,
don't show up. They don't do the people will go like, drug tests are hard to pass now. I don't know what's going on.
and so do you guys let other people come into those slots if they're open and available?
Once you've applied, you're kind of in this bank, in this pool. So
Okay.
that's why I say apply, apply, apply. And email never hurts. Like if you connect with me on LinkedIn and just ask what's out there.
A year out of my master's degree, but I don't necessarily have, it looks like it says 6 years of experience.
I'm pretty sure you probably have almost 6 years experience. Say required versus preferred. Preferred is like unicorn, purple unicorn. Woo, that'd be great. We're not gonna get that. So, so
Mhm.
required is gonna be, do you meet the minimum requirements?
This is a very first on the Custom Journeys podcast, so I'm excited. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Custom Journeys podcast. My name is Andrew Baines. We got a very special episode today. Today, I want to introduce you all to Leonelle Thompson. She is a manager, early career at Williams. So, early career manager at Williams. So, really wanted to give you guys an opportunity to not only, hear inspirational stories on this podcast, but then also be able to connect with recruiters, hiring managers in real life or virtually. Give you guys the opportunity to have resume reviews, learn about the different opportunities at these companies, and then also just, be able to actually connect people one-to-one. So the way this show will work, this episode, it'll be a little different. The first part will be a discussion between me and Leonelle, just kind of talking about her journey to becoming a recruiter at Williams, also discussing some of the early career opportunities at Williams. The second part of the second segment of the show will be a resume review session. We have about 4 different resumes we'll have Leonelle review. We'll kind of keep it very abbreviated just to kind of simulate the actual resume reviewing process in real life. And then last but not least, I have 2 individuals that'll come up and introduce themselves to Leonelle, maybe practice giving their elevator pitch, ask any questions or any advice that they want to ask. But just trying to switch it up, have some fun. But if you like the content, if you like the channel, if you believe in the mission, really trying to diversify STEM, getting more Black and Latino individuals into the career field, I highly encourage you all to subscribe to the channel, like, share this with a friend, all that good stuff. Now we got all the logistics out of the way. Leonelle, how you doing today? How you been?
I am doing great. I am doing great. Doing well. Thank you.
Cool. Well, I'm really excited to have you on here. I'm glad you kind of took me up on this unique opportunity. I was like pitching this to a few recruiters. I had a lot of people interested, but you're like the first one, and had really great feelings from just talking to you. So really excited to kind of learn and get into what you do.
And
And
we know some mutual people. It was like right after we met, you were in a selfie with the guy I was having dinner with for Genesis work. So it was meant to be. It was
yeah,
so meant to be.
small world. And he was like, he threw your name out there, and I was like, oh yeah, I know her. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm having dinner with her tomorrow to talk about Genesis. I'm like, this is crazy, but
Crazy.
But no, just signs and signals that, like you said, it was meant to be. I see you got the big, merch right there, Williams across the chest.
Yeah.
You got to represent. So, yeah, I know you've had quite a career to get to where you're at, though, right? Like you didn't start as a recruiter at Williams. I think you maybe even started your recruiting journey back in college. Like, kind of give me the abbreviated Leonelle Thompson journey to getting to where you're at today.
Yeah. So, real quickly, I'm an accountant by degree. So, I started my career as an accountant, was going to be an accountant forever. Got the opportunity early on in my career to move into a learning and development and recruiting role. And so, to do training, help recruit early career folks to the company I was at the time. I had been doing that kind of as like the volunteer piece for the company I was at, but actually got to lead that role. And that kind of started my whole recruiting journey. Um, Moved to another company after that. I took a break from recruiting, but also was teaching at that time in higher ed and really fell in love with higher education. And through teaching, through mentoring young professionals, that was in a way recruiting, it wasn't formal recruiting. Moved into higher ed full time in a career services role with 2 different universities and recruited in that sense as well, whether it was for them to come to my office or to help other companies to recruit some of my students. And that led me to back to corporate America, to where I now get to lead the team that has recruiters to serve in a recruiting role that is really focused on that early career population. And early career, while we do recruit primarily from universities and colleges, we know that that demographic is changing. So for us, early career is anyone with 0 to 5 years experience. So happy to be back at Williams. I say back because Williams was actually my first internship when I was in college. And so I have come full circle now. Gosh, that was about 21 years ago where I was an intern when I was an intern at Williams.
Okay, that's awesome. Now that's great that it's kind of come full circle like that. I know that's probably very fulfilling to kind of, see where you began your career is kind of back where you're at. I think you got a while to go before you're done with your career, but
I
it's
do. I hope, unless win the lottery or something or end up in somebody's will. I don't know,
you live in Oklahoma, you may hit it big on the slot machines out there. So if you do, it may be time to put that retirement in early. So
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. Hey, but that's great that you have like a lot of experience, even going back to like the career, like at colleges, right? Because I think that's,
Yeah.
I have a passion for helping people in general, but you're always very empathetic, or even more empathetic to like the young high school,
Yes.
college age people. So, what was that experience like? Were you kind of helping people with resume writing, getting ready for like interviews, or was it just more so like teaching and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was all of the above. Helping students get ready for resumes and interviews. It was so fulfilling because I remember. So I'm not a first generation college student, but I am the first in my family to take the business route. So everyone in my family is education or public service, right? So different way to go about getting a job. When I was in higher ed, I was in the College of Business, and then I was over all of career services for the entire university. But it was so fulfilling to have someone come in and to really, know that they had these skills. But how do you articulate them in a document, right? And a resume is not a normal document. It's you're selling yourself, but you got to be clear on what you want. But do you have the experience? So talking with students to pull out, like, what are some of the skills that you have that are transferable, and how do you translate that into this weird kind of document. And then probably my favorite was the mock interviews, just to get students ready for the different type of questions they may be asked, whether it's behavioral based or in some instances, true like simulations. But how do you, calming those nerves, how do you answer these questions? What are the kind of questions you're going to get? And so have being able to do that. And then on the teaching side, being able to infuse all this kind of career readiness into the classroom, which I still recommend to any college or university professor. You've got to talk about career readiness. So how will students in your class now, even though they may be learning statistics or ops management or strategic management, whatever it may be, what comes next? And so getting them ready with those communication skills, critical thinking skills is very, very much key.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I really echo your comments on the career readiness part, right? Because it's like in high school, middle school, elementary, you can tell a kid like, hey, you need to learn this just because you're going to use it in the real world. And you don't have to necessarily provide any examples, right? They just need to take your word for it. But like
Yeah, the
in
algebra
college,
will be used. Like, is algebra going to be used?
really, but yeah, but like I think in college you really have to like connect the dots. Like, okay, hey,
Yes.
you're learning this because when you graduate from here, if you become a design engineer, you're gonna do this. If you graduate from here, you become a manufacturing engineer or a quality engineer, you're gonna need to know this. So I think
Yep.
that's the part, sometimes I don't think we emphasize enough. Really, I think the model should kind of be kind of flipped. Not to go like too deep down the rabbit hole, but it's like if the goal is like get a job at the end of this experience, like career
Yes.
services need a much bigger budget and they like much bigger emphasis.
Oh, yes.
So
Oh, yeah. I was a team of one in one of my career services offices, a team of one for 1,700 students.
that's wild. That
Yeah.
is crazy. It's not
For
like I
every
don't even
major. Yeah.
okay. That's
For
crazy. But
agriculture to accounting. It was wild. It was.
yeah, so I don't know. That just shows like I don't think they always have the right, mindset on the higher academia part. I think a lot of times they just focus on the research or
Yep.
recruitment, but it's
Yep.
like, okay, what
Yeah.
about the customer service part? What about like actually
Yeah.
getting them the thing that they came here for, not just the degree, but the job at the end of the day. So, um,
Exactly. Yep.
I got you. Hey, but so one thing that you mentioned that caught my attention, you said Williams recognizes that early career is not just recent college graduates, but it's that whole 0 to 5 years experience. And I know you guys, we already mentioned Genesis Works. So you guys are looking at like alternative pipelines and alternative methods that others may not be considering yet. Can you kind of expand on that? Like, what all does that include? Like, where are you recruiting people from? Where's your talent pipeline coming from?
Yeah, so for particularly my area, we have expanded into high schools. So having high schools through the Genesis Works program was always a part of Williams in Houston, but now in Tulsa, where we're headquartered, having high schoolers intern with us throughout the school year in a variety of roles, whether it be supply chain, whether it be IT, what we call project execution. So some of our engineering type roles, just to give them a sense of what working at Williams and what working in corporate or what a career could look like. Um, my team does a lot of university recruiting, but also our technical schools for our operation technicians roles. So think of our field roles. As we are moving natural gas across the United States, someone has to be out there manning those pipelines, manning that infrastructure. And so that's what our optics do. And so, those individuals can come from technical schools. They don't have to come from colleges and universities. And one thing our information technology department did is they've just recently launched an IT academy, which specifically looks for people who maybe haven't worked in IT before, but are looking for that career change and maybe have a little bit of coding experience or some certifications, maybe, 0 to 5 years experience total in IT, but want to make that change to come into the IT department. So those are just some of the ways we're looking at diversifying our pipeline and also starting a lot earlier. But we also, when we look at our colleges and universities, we're also looking at what we call non-traditional students was the old term. Now it's adult learners, right? So not necessarily everyone who's 18 to 22, but who's a student that, was in the military that went back to school, and that's a whole great skill set to bring. Who is the person who decided to stay home with their children? And now their children are at a place where they can go to school and don't need someone at home all the time. They've gone back to school and are looking for some career opportunities. So again, what we still call early career based on the experience level.
That's awesome. That's really like encouraging that you guys are, really expanding the entire pipeline. Because a lot of times, it's really just the college model.
Yeah.
But you guys are doing high school, college, people that are like returning to work in whatever fashion. So, I mean, that's really inspiring. Where's kind of the biggest opportunity you think either now, or where do you kind of foresee the biggest opportunities? Like, is it going to be in the accounting side? Is it going to be on the engineering side, the IT, cybersecurity side? What do you kind of think?
I think our biggest opportunity is going to be finance and accounting, engineering and IT, all the areas we
Everything I
recruit in.
said, all the above.
Yeah, simply because a couple reasons. One, gosh, there's so many. You don't necessarily have to have a 4-year degree now for those roles, right?
Okay.
I think one of our biggest opportunities too is promoting our tuition reimbursement program. I am all about rewriting job descriptions to say, hey, you know what? In 2 years, let's get your degree, but let us help you bridge that gap and pay for it while you work, right? And then we are seeing, the latest stat I heard was every 9 seconds, a baby boomer retires. And
Dang.
so, they were a huge part of the workforce. And so, getting individuals in, that's a lot of institutional knowledge could take just leaving and all those disciplines. So do we need to wait on degrees because every 9 seconds someone's not getting a degree, right? So we've got to keep up with
Yeah.
this kind of like knowledge drain that's happening. Definitely see that in finance and accounting and I say this as an accountant, accountants, once they get in a role, a lot of them, they just stay, right? And they move, they get promoted, but they are accountants, right? And
Yeah.
they have that knowledge and that know-how. And so those are our biggest opportunities is to one, add diversity, um, of thought, of gender, of race, ethnicity, and then also age. So, and again, not necessarily looking at just the college population, but someone who's 25, 26, 27, right? Who's changing careers 30 to come
Mhm.
in and still a lot of career time left, but trying out something new.
Yeah. No, it's important that, like, again, that you guys are taking that approach because it's a lot that's becoming the norm where,
Yeah.
people went to college for one thing, They actually started maybe doing an internship or working the job. They realized, yo, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. This is not fun. Let me
Yeah.
find something else. But sometimes it can be challenging to find the right employers that like understand that and are not only understand it, but like are willing to like put the funding behind recruiting
Yeah.
people, regardless of like them not checking every single box and just focusing on like, hey, let's hire talented people that have the interest and the passion, So it's
Yeah. I mean, like I put my degree is like the last thing on my resume now because it's accounting, right? And I'm in
yeah,
HR. And so I don't lead with my degree. I lead with my experience.
gotcha.
And I'm not looking for a job. I'm just, for the people from Williams who are I just keep my resume updated just cuz I'm not looking. But I'm just saying, like, just want to make
Just to
I was going to make
clarify.
that clear. Yeah. So,
Oh, you don't want the powers that be. So let's talk about this interview you did.
yeah.
Where you're talking about your
You
resume and
got
how
your
you
resume?
want
Yeah.
somebody to see it. I got you. What was I gonna ask you? Hey, so like, what's the best way? You guys are recruiting high school students through Genesis Works, college students through like the traditional methods, and then also people returning to work, whether it's like military, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, whatever the case may be. Way for like people to like find out about these different programs and opportunities. Is it traditional methods of like online job portal? Is it career fairs, or what career fairs would it be? Is it social media? What would you kind of recommend?
Yeah, all of the above. For the university recruiting, we do have a set time that we recruit. It's in the fall, even for the next year. Of course, our website, williams.com/careers, always has postings for veterans, military. Our veterans recruiter, military recruiting is always at like Hire Our Heroes career fairs, virtual career fairs that are happening throughout the year. Definitely follow us on LinkedIn. That's probably our best social media outlet as far as job postings go. And one of my favorite things to do is connect with a recruiter. You can easily on LinkedIn type in recruiter at Williams, and all the recruiters are always posting jobs. Some of them post before they're even like posted externally, right? And you can get that
Mm,
inside scoop as to what's happening. So that's something fun that our talent acquisition team does. But all the traditional methods, but and email never hurts. Like if you connect with me on LinkedIn, my email should, I think like I said, where then it becomes public and just ask what's out there. And we have on our site, you can, on our williams.com site, you can, once you create your career profile, set up job alerts. You can set up your profile to get any kind of referrals that are coming up or any jobs that are coming. So that's what I would say would be the best approach. But LinkedIn is definitely our number one when it comes to job postings.
okay, gotcha. And then one other question I kind of had written down over here. What's kind of, I know it may vary, maybe based on department, but what do you guys typically look for in like early career candidates or just job seekers in general? Whether it's, and I know it may vary depending on like, hey, for a high school student is this, for returning to work is this, but just kind of general, I guess, like that early career, maybe that 22 to 30 range. What do you guys typically look for in those candidates?
Yeah, definitely looking for skills, right? And it doesn't, I think a lot of times we want to do when we're applying for jobs, we want a one for one. So, oh, this says you need to know this software. Well, I don't know that software, so I'm not going to apply. No, if you know any kind of, ERP system, it doesn't matter that we may use a certain one and you know a different one, write that down. So looking at the skills, looking at what experience you have, and it again, it needs to be relevant, but it doesn't have to be exact. So really finessing your resume to highlight those skills. If you are more than a year or two outside of college, college should not be the first thing on your resume. It should really be those skills, summary of skills. So critical thinking, how you work together in a team. We have 7 competencies that we rate our performance on, as well as we always put in our job postings. So, are you action oriented? How do you communicate? Do you instill trust? And so, and then there's like 3 other ones. But how do you showcase those skills? That's what we want to see on those resumes.
Okay. No,
I
I
will say
appreciate
for
that.
we do a blind resume review. So in the first pass, names and education are stripped off.
Oh, wow. Okay. So y'all have like a
Yeah.
software system that'll automatically take that out, or Does somebody like?
So we see so our workday system will remove names in school, any identifying factor that could lead to any kind of bias.
I like
And,
that.
and it's
That's
truly folks focused on skill set and the things that matter for a job.
yeah, yeah. I like that because I mean I've seen the studies that have come out where it's like certain ethnic names are like discriminated
Yeah.
against, and it's like,
Yeah.
yo, you can't take your name off like completely
Yeah.
of your resume.
Right. Yeah.
So
And you can't lie about your name. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. No, I think that's good that y'all are doing that. Do y'all I know some employers have like, and it sounds like y'all do have like an applicant tracking system where like it may filter
Uh-huh.
based on keywords. Should like are there certain keywords that people should think about putting in the resume and stuff like that? And I know we may get into that in the resume review.
Yeah, no keywords, no, nothing. So all of our resumes are still at Williams are still reviewed by a person.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good. Okay, no, this has been fun. I think we're kind of like around the 20-minute mark.
Okay.
But no, I'm yeah, it's going by quick. It's going by quick.
I know, and I haven't gotten out of hand yet, so
I
this
see.
is
I
good.
gotta see. I gotta get you to say something controversial for me before we get out of here. Let's help this go viral, Leonelle. Help a brother out. But now, so what I'll do now, we're at the 20-minute mark. Okay. So the way I kind of envision this is
Uh-huh.
we'll have resumes. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on the clock. I'm really just gonna try to give you like 60 seconds. You're getting a little sneak peek for this first one, but I'm gonna try to limit you to like
Okay.
60 seconds, just give you an opportunity to kind of like go through the resume. And then at the end of that 60 seconds, just kind of give me your initial thoughts and like kind of maybe like where they could add some where they can improve it at, any kind of recommendations or feedback you may want to provide. I think, yeah, I redacted everybody's like name and contact information
Okay.
from the email. So nobody can know
Perfect.
like, okay, hey, who is this individual? But really just kind of, that's pretty much the name of the game. I think you've
Okay.
done this probably thousands of times before.
Oh
So
yes. Oh yes.
you're good. Okay, so
Okay.
with that being said, let's go ahead and start now.
Okay. All right. Keep scrolling for me. All right. Keep going. All right. All right. Going. Yep. Keep scrolling.
All right, you had the 60
All right.
second
Yeah.
mark.
All right. Yeah. You can go back up to the top. So initial thoughts
Oh yeah, let me go
on
back. Oh, hold on,
sorry.
wait, wait. All right, there we go.
Initial thoughts, 3 pages, a little long. So honestly, didn't get past as we were scrolling. Still, the second and third page didn't really matter to me.
Okay.
Lots of pronoun usage of I, not necessary. In the first part, the
Oh, I
profession,
am a
yeah,
team player. I am a
yeah,
fast hands-on. I come
yeah.
from. Good point.
Yeah. Professional profile, love that's a section and that this individual led with that. Definitely just make it stronger by taking out the eyes and just really, I say punch the recruiter in the face of like, enthusiastic, optimistic, full stack software developer, team player, with great communication skills, like really hit home, like strong statements that start with either adjectives or verbs.
I got you. Strong,
Uh, edu-
concise, to the point.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Education, and this may be a style thing. Don't need all the paragraph underneath education. I actually would not put education up that high, especially since there's no graduation date on it. So I would put technical skills after professional profile. Technical
Okay.
skills is a great section to have.
Gotcha.
And then on the professional experience, didn't really get a full sense of what was done. You don't need the full time 40 hours. You just need the name of the company, the location, and then the dates that you work there. And again, just leading off, started definitely with verbs, which I like, but say
Hmm.
a little bit more. So, went through Enable It program, working as a team for a group project. So what does that mean? Like, what was some of the accomplishments, as opposed to um, the way it's written right now sounds like a job description, and think about it more of what did you accomplish.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. And what about these kind of the same?
The same thing, yeah, and I would honestly take off the last two, Cato and Joanne's Fabrics. Not probably relevant.
Okay.
Great, gain some great skills though, right? Like, as you dealing with the crazy public.
Yeah.
Even the camp, I would take off because they are slightly older in date. However, those skills learned as a camp counselor and a sales associate could be in your professional profile. So skilled at working with others, problem solving, that kind of thing.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that feedback a lot. I do think, especially these last two, I mean, probably not relevant for the role. Looks like they're applying for like a full stack developer role.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
mean, I guess it shows some work history, but not really relevant to what you're doing.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
had enough that you don't need to include those last 3.
okay, gotcha. All right, cool. Hey, let's do one more and then we'll
Okay.
go to Madeline and Godson because they're
Yeah.
on the phone.
Yeah,
And
I will
so
say
like
on that one, I love the format, like, it's clean, it's good use of white space, so the formatting, everything's great on this one. No colors, no pictures staring at you. Like, how realtors have pictures? Like, "What your picture got to do with me buying a house?"
gotcha.
I have questions. So,
So this one, okay, so we'll go ahead and start now.
okay, perfect, keep scrolling. Alright. So this one, I would move on to interview.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah. So a couple of things that stand out to me on this one. The first thing I noticed is there's a graduation date, which lets me know that this person's probably looking for an internship. So the April 2025.
Okay.
This is definitely a student structured resume. So I've seen this format a lot. It works. I see the education, I see the relevant courses, which is fantastic. Because also thinking about a student may not necessarily have any. I wouldn't say doesn't have any, but the technical skills may not be there quite yet because you're in school. So the equivalent of that is the relevant courses. GPA, while not a determining factor, a lot of times it's always still good to have.
Mm,
The degree is listed. That is great. So if you're a student, you have to lead with education. If you're career changing or more than 2 years out of school, you don't lead with education. Um,
gotcha.
Experience is great. The bolding of what the roles are that you've had, whether it was an intern, the dates you've had them, all great. Nice bullet points under each, and then skills learned, and it's 1 page. I
Okay.
also like that campus involvement is also on there. Again, just skimming it, didn't read the activities involved in it, but I saw there was campus involvement.
Okay. Gotcha. Real quick, what are your thoughts on like number of bullet points? Like how many do you have like a rule of thumb or does it kind of just vary for you?
I I say 3. So some of them have 5, which is quite a bit. I say no more than 3 just to keep the page, nice and tight.
Okay. I like that. It's a good point.
Especially if there's like long sentences, like this is little longer in what was done.
Okay. Cool.
The one thing I will say is just be careful of acronyms.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I guess the main ones like AI, like
Yeah, yeah,
those are
we
fine, but
know, yeah, but
when you
like,
get into like I guess industry specific ones, I guess that's where
yes,
you can.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, good stuff. What was the biggest thing that stood out to you on this one? Like where you were like, yeah, this one you'd move on to interview.
I knew exactly what they were looking for with the date on their graduation, and I could tell right off this was an internship application.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
And one, like, especially for internships, there are probably a little bit more um specific qualifications listed, like you've got to be graduating in this year. Here are the majors we're looking for, and they led with that, which was
Okay.
great.
Gotcha. All right, cool. No, that was fun. I think that was a good like appetizer. This is a very first on the Custom Journeys podcast, so I'm excited. But yeah, for this last segment, Leonelle, just want to give you the opportunity to connect with two different professionals that are open to opportunities. I was telling them about Williams, and they've heard some of our conversation today about Williams. So I'm just gonna open up the floor to them, and then just kind of let them take it from there. I'm gonna cap it at like 10 minutes per person, though. So you have up to 10 minutes, Madeline. I'll kind of give you like a 1 minute warning, and then you guys can just make sure you wrap it up from there. But yeah, now the floor is yours. I'll let you kind of take it from here. And you're still on mute, Madeline. Almost. Let's see. Leonelle, so are you a sports fan, or do you support? There's no sports team in Oklahoma though, other than the Thunder, right?
The Thunder. Okay. Yes. So I actually am a big sports fan.
Let me
I
repeat
enjoy
my
golf.
comment just because I don't think you heard me. There is no sports team in Oklahoma.
Wow. Well, that's okay.
All right.
I follow golf. I'm a golfer.
What?
That is
Really?
yeah. Yeah.
Who represents for Oklahoma in the golf world?
Absolutely no one. So it's totally fine. I am still Team Tiger, even after all his drama. He's gonna make a
Okay.
great comeback.
Hey, it is. It's a heck of a story. Tiger done wrecked the car and everything. Okay. All right.
Got
Let me
beat with a
stop.
club. Okay.
All right. Let me see. Madeline, you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
There we
we
go. All right. Cool. I'm
Awesome.
start the clock now. Y'all go do your thing.
Hi, Madeline. Nice to
Hello.
meet you.
Nice meeting you also. I heard everything that he was asking you. I'm glad you answered like a lot of questions. I feel like a lot pertain to me. So this process and being in the podcast was awesome. But I have some questions for you. I just want to first give you a bit of my background, and then hopefully I can ask you some questions about you also. So my name is Madeline. I'm more of a career transformation. So I'm transferring careers. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2021 with business. I went to college thinking, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I was like, business, it's it's generic. I know I could find something there. And once I graduated college with business degree, I learned more about like IT, cybersecurity. So I wanted to get into that field. So I'm now currently getting my master's in cybersecurity. So it's a little different. Like I got my business degree, and now I'm currently getting my cybersecurity in my master's. I currently have a 4.0 GPA. I've did internships. I've been on the job, so I have professional experience. I've been working in retirement. I'm a bit nervous, sorry.
Oh no, you
So
are
I've
you're
been
doing great. You're doing great. Andrew put that
thank
time
you.
on us. That's.
Thank you. I have professional experience. I worked 4 years like customer service, retirement benefits. That's what I'm doing currently. I want to transfer into cybersecurity. I've now learned that it's not easy, but I'm very go oriented. I work hard. While I was in college, I have 3 children, so I worked hard while going to school full time. I took 6 classes, worked full time, and took care of little kids all at the same time. Doing it still now with the 4.0 GPA. So I work hard. I'm trying to like get my goals, and if I can get help, that would be awesome. So that's about a
Awesome.
bit about me. And I just
Okay.
want
Are
to know,
you
like, what advice do you have as far as transitioning into a different career?
Yeah, so transitioning is always a little harder, but it's totally
Mhm.
possible. And so think about how long you have left on your degree. You definitely need to probably get an internship in cybersecurity. Not probably,
Mhm.
you do. In that particular field, it is likely that is the one of the main pipelines to a full time role is through an
Mhm.
internship. So whether
I
you can do it in the summer or during the school year, with your asking, your school that you're getting your master's in, like they have some connections with firms who are hiring. And I don't know the coursework for your curriculum, but also any extra certifications will be helpful. So
Yeah.
you have business background, which is fantastic, a great base. Are there other certifications you can get? Even something like a project management certification, right? Something not the full PMP, but something, Grow with Google has some opportunities for project
Yeah.
management certifications. And then what are the certifications and skills you're learning in school? Highlight those definitely on your resume. You want to also, with your work experience, highlight how that relates to cybersecurity and maybe some of the tech field. So, with your benefits analytics, that kind of thing, how are you utilizing that, and start maybe incorporating some cybersecurity into that role as well. Are you open to relocation? The cool thing about cybersecurity jobs, a lot of them are remote. And
Yeah.
so, but just think about if you're going to be open to relocation, what that may look like, and then what are some of the things you value, especially since you are transitioning, and you do have a family. It's going to really boil down to what's best for you and your family.
Yes, I agree. I would say relocation, for remote job, of course, but out of the state, that's a hard decision. I haven't thought of it yet, but yeah, I would definitely have to think about that.
Okay, are you in Texas?
I am. I'm currently in Houston,
Okay,
Texas.
Houston. Okay, okay,
Yes,
awesome. Well, we have an office there. We have
yes,
Williams
I
has
did
an
see
office,
that.
and Williams has an IT department. We have an IT department there, so just something to think
Eh,
about.
Yes, I did, and I heard you talk about the IT Academy. So how do
Yeah.
I look into opportunities with your IT Academy?
Yeah, so it comes around once a year. So the new
Okay.
class just started. So those job postings will probably be posted in the next 6 months for the next class. But
Okay,
definitely
awesome.
there's
Well, I definitely
always postings out there for IT.
awesome. I would definitely be on the lookout. I seen one position, it was like IT data and analytics, and then you also
Uh-huh.
see intern. So, like for me, would you say I should go more for like internships or like for a full-term cybersecurity position? I feel like I'm always in between those two
Yeah.
because I want a full job, making more money. But I definitely understand changing careers. I may have to, get an internship and start early, like an early career job.
Yeah, so depends on when you'll graduate. So depending on your graduation year, you may not qualify for an internship. So for
I
us,
graduate. Sorry, I
no, no,
graduate
go ahead.
July 2024.
Okay. So you would be at this point, internships wouldn't be available for 2024. So need to start looking at entry level, full-time jobs. Yeah, because
Okay.
most internships, you apply the fall before, so you would have applied this time. But since you're
Mhm.
graduating in the summer as well, you'll want to start work probably in August, September. So start looking for those full-time roles.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for your
You're
assistance and your help. Thank you.
you're so welcome. Happy to help.
Thank you.
Okay, good job, Madeline. Hey, Madeline, real quick, I didn't ask you, but did you want Leonelle to like look at your resume? I have it saved if you wanted to like get any feedback or anything like that. We still got like a couple minutes left. Cool.
Yes, that would be awesome.
All right, let me pull up your resume real quick. Go, Leonelle, you can see that, right?
I can, yes.
Okay, so you just tell me when to scroll and I'll scroll.
Okay. Yeah, keep scrolling. All right, keep scrolling. Yeah, so first off, really, Madeline, I want you to get it down to, if possible, one page. And I think some of that will just
Okay.
be with your font and formatting. Skills has to go up to the top. It has to be more prevalent than and not the last thing on the resume.
Okay. I
So I
agree.
like your summary. You have GPA on there twice, so I would take it out of the summary and just let it be under education. But
Okay.
uh, the spacing I think will help you get it to one page, because there's some spacing between summary and then the actual summary education. There shouldn't be spaces between those. Um,
Okay.
but everything looks good. If we scroll through again, you have some really great experience. I love that you lead with the cybersecurity experience. So, lot of acronyms and things, but they relate to cybersecurity. So I'm good with those there. I like that you have your pension accounting on there as well. But I think some of the, if you scroll down quickly, some of the later jobs you don't have to actually scroll, but like you don't necessarily may not need, especially since they're dating back to the help desk assistant intern one is what year? Sorry, because my camera's covering up.
12,
Yeah,
13.
2012, 2013. Yeah, you can take that off.
Okay, I agree. That's true.
So, and I'd say just consistency on if you list the company name and the location, just be consistent on those, on the different roles you've had.
True. I agree.
But yeah, it's nice and
Awesome.
clean. Like I said, I think reducing the font a little bit and working on the spacing will help you get it to one page.
Okay, awesome. I definitely will do that.
And move skills up, because you got some great skills on there. And you know with the scan of a resume, we want to see that up front. And you have CRM, right? So that's great to have up at the top, because that everyone has some sort of CRM system in the organization.
I agree. That's true. I definitely will do that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Good stuff. Thanks, Madeline. I'm gonna send you back to the green room, but I appreciate you coming up. I know it's, can be a little nerve-wracking, a little nervous, but you did a great job. So thank you again for coming on.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you
if it makes you
also
feel
for
better,
working with
I mean, I'm in a sweatshirt and yoga pants, so don't be nervous. So,
me. Thank
Cool.
you also. And I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn if possible.
absolutely, yeah. Send me a connection notice, or note, or
Okay, I will.
notification, whatever it's called. Okay, yes.
I definitely will. Thank you
Sounds
All right.
good.
guys.
You're welcome.
See ya. Now we're gonna bring up Godson. Godson, how's it going, man? Oh, you on mute still too. I gotta figure out this mute thing over here. Let me do this. Let me start with the resume review for you, and I'll see like if the lag goes away. If not, you could try to call him back in. But let's start with the resume review. I'll have Leonelle kind of just go through your resume and just give you like any feedback there. Okay, Leonelle, go ahead and do your thing.
Okay, Godson, nice to meet you. Just gonna review
Uh,
this a little bit. All right, scroll down for me, please. All right, keep scrolling. Ah, one of my University of Houston students. I love it. We recruit from there.
Okay. So what you think, Leonelle?
So first off, a lot of information, right? So from what I could see, education wasn't at the top. So if you were applying for an internship, I would say not qualified. But then as we scroll down, I saw education, and it was, I think you graduate in 2022. So it's like, okay, education's at the bottom. So probably looking for more of a full time role. Totally fine. If we scroll back up, so I see skills and achievement is also too far down. So that has to come up to be the second section. Love that you led off with a professional summary. So at the very top, the summary. I want that stronger though. So you're passionate about product and customer services experiences, but tell me more, right? So who are you, without using like the pronoun of I? but what are you going to bring to the table to an employer? So you're seeking an opportunity to solve customer problems and drive business impact. I would rephrase that to be problem solver who drives business impacts, and then passionate about product and customer experiences, right? So when I look at this as a resume reviewer, as a recruiter, I want to know, like, what are you going to do for me, right? So if you're seeking an opportunity, that's a given because you're applying, but rephrasing it to tell me you're going to be you are a problem solver and can drive business impact. On the professional experience, love the bolding to kind of highlight, what it is that you have done. Only thing is, on some of the years have ranges, some don't. So if you're presently or currently working there, I would just do, the month and the year to present, or month and year to month and year, just so we kind of get a sense of, are you still at these roles? It was 2022 like the full year? Was it just a short amount of time? As an intern, it was probably just a few months. I see blue hyperlinking, just making sure if you have the hyperlinks. Not a big fan of hyperlinks in documents, but if they do go to like an external website, that those work. Know that most companies would probably block those, so hyperlinks I wouldn't put into any kind of document. Relevant content, so just work on some spacing. So after each title, the lead academy instructor, product manager, intern, there shouldn't be a space between that and the bullet points. It just tightens it up a little bit. And then on the products, it looks like those are products that you have done or you've worked on. So I didn't know if you meant products or projects on that. And so still great information to have. Again, just be careful of the hyperlink. And then skills and achievements will come up after your summary. And education's fine where it is.
On the spacing part, so you would say no space between, like maybe tighten up this space, but then put a space between this last bullet point and the next title?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And thanks for clarifying.
I will say for both resume reviews, I do love, this is something that the first thing that I kick out when I review for a job application, if the resume is not submitted as a PDF. So kudos to both folks for sending it as a PDF. If it's submitted as a Word document, it opens wonky. And so thanks for doing a PDF.
Gotcha. It's a lot of little things that people don't even think about, but that's a good point.
I know we don't have a lot of time. And again, we're like, so to give you context, my team had over 2,100 applications this fall for internships and full time. A member of my team read each of those resumes. So if you if your resume crashes the system because it's in a Word document for, someone had to restart their computer for that. So just PDF is the way to go.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. All right, now I'll let it go back to you, Godson.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback on my resume. I will definitely go back and make some of those changes. So yeah, like you mentioned, or as you noticed, I graduated a year ago, right? And so I studied mechanical engineering and computer science. I got my master's in information systems. A lot of my experience though has been more in like a product manager, project manager, business analyst side of agile development or in software. But I do like, and that's kind of maybe my issue now is I enjoy, working with technical softwares, especially analytics, right? So I think some of my most notable or proud achievements have involved, like I coded actually a heat map for Chevron in Java, and that's, data visualization using Java. And I enhanced AT&T's $45 million supply chain portfolio in Excel using logical functions and pivot tables and VLOOKUP. So and I loved every minute of learning that, teaching myself those things and delivering with those tools. So I'm looking for more data analytical positions, and I saw that Williams has a developer/analyst role that's open. I'm in Houston as well, so I saw that it says something about like Houston, Texas Tower or something. But I think it's like, I was looking through the description, And again, I'm only like a year out of my master's degree, but I don't necessarily have, it looks like it says 6 years of experience in IT, right? And so I'm wondering, are there any like entry level analyst positions at Williams that I might pursue?
Yeah. So I saw on your resume you did graduate in 2018 with your mechanical engineer's degree, right?
In fact,
And so, and I also saw on your resume, I'm pretty sure you probably have almost 6 years experience. And you
mm.
have to forgive me because I'm trying to recall the job description, but um, was that required or preferred, the 6 years?
Oh, actually, it says preferred. Okay.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So not required. So
Yeah.
so definitely always know, like, when we say required versus preferred, preferred is like unicorn, purple unicorn. Woo, that'd be great. We're not gonna get that. So, so
Mm.
required is gonna be, do you meet the minimum requirements of that? I think with your skill set, you do. I would still go ahead and apply. I think our entry level positions, they would be posted. But if you're interested, it's also, worth, once you apply, looking on LinkedIn, seeing who that recruiter is, reaching out to them, but really taking a look at those job descriptions, and what's required versus what is preferred. And, and having that conversation. I always say with your resume, resumes, the whole point of the resume is to get that job interview. And so then at that point, that's why we want to beef it up. And I want you to put your skills and stuff a little higher, have that strong summary statement for when we scan it being visually scanned, not like the computer scan, but and then talk about it more in the job interview. So definitely don't get hung up on the required versus preferred. If you meet the required qualifications, you could definitely go ahead and apply.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe I guess I have two follow up on that. So a lot of my professional experience has been mostly internships. Some of it I have done, like I've done some full time, almost a year full time. But a lot of my other like years of experience have not been. It's been like startup initiatives. So I've done like, and it's not necessarily been a lot of paid jobs. It's kind of been a helping different startups get like fundraising. That's maybe why I'm not so sure, not confident on even like the 4 year minimum requirement. But it's something that I'll probably still apply for and see. I guess my second
Yeah,
question is,
definitely still apply.
I see that the position. So when I was reading the description again, it's around like security. So it's around like identity management. But it goes beyond that, and I would use tools like PowerShell, Power BI, Power Apps, and Python to develop solutions. And that's like what I love about it, or what draws me to it, is to be able to still use tools like Python or visualization software like Power BI. I do have an internship in cybersecurity, and I had part of the information systems master's degree's security courses, but I don't have like a lot of full time experience in cybersecurity. So I was also just wondering like whether that's a deterrent. Well, this is the only like developer analyst position I see on the careers page, so that's kind of why I'm drawn to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely on the, as far as like the visualization, Power BI, all of that, highlight that on your resume. That's something I want to see then, right? That you have a
Okay.
passion for that, that you want to, yes, right? Even if, and don't discount your internships, that is still experience. So don't discount that. Highlight that. Highlight again, you bolded some of the things you achieved. Highlight, the skill set, were some of the courses you took, some of the certifications, maybe some projects. And again, highlighting those, it may not be a one for one to the job description, but you can pull out things that you've done that show translate or transferable skills.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for your feedback.
No problem.
Good stuff. Hey, I had one question. Just hearing Godson talk and looking at his resume, and it's kind of, I guess it may depend on like the recruiter you get, but when he talks about like working with, who was it, Chevron, and like it was another company as well. Who was the other company you mentioned, Godson?
AT&T.
AT&T. Okay, so like some of those like name brands that like everybody knows, do you recommend like maybe moving those to like the top? Like, and I think he kind of had those like in the product section for his resume. Like, Well, AT&T has here in the experience section, but I guess the Chevron thing he has down here at the bottom. Would you recommend like maybe moving that at the top, like you were saying, like with the summary, like punch the recruiter in the face with like,
Yeah.
hey, like do you kind of have the same mindset with like experience or like relevant experience, or would you just do it like chronologically based on like the year you did it?
Yeah, it kind of depends on when was the Chevron piece. When was that?
Yeah, so yeah, the Chevron, I did that. That was actually part of my mechanical engineering capstone. And so that's why it's not
Okay.
necessarily like in my professional experience because I wasn't like employed by Chevron. It was just like a
Yeah.
project I did for them.
Yeah,
But
just
then
kind of
also it was in
yeah.
2018. It was a long time ago. So that's why it's kind of near the bottom, even though it is like I think one of my most notable deliverables for a company.
Yeah, so I think that whole bullet point, what I would do is that translated temperature data into, configurable heat map, that should be part of your summary. So as you talk about, you are, problem solver, results driven. I would change the summary to professional highlights, or professional summary would be a great way to call it, professional summary. So
Mm,
you could just pull that out and that be part of who you are, something that you've achieved.
Cool.
thanks.
Good
No
stuff. Good
problem.
stuff. Nice. Well, good job, Godson. I
Yeah, connect
appreciate
with me
you.
on LinkedIn, and I can get you over to
Yeah,
that recruiter. Yeah.
thank you. How do I spell your Leonelle?
Yes. Leonelle, and then
Got it.
Thompson.
Perfect.
Probably the only one out there. Only one. Only. So,
You said, sorry, was it Thomas or Tompkins?
Thompson. Thompson.
Thompson. Okay, is that with a TH, right?
Yes. And then
Got it. Okay,
Thompson. Yep.
perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out.
You're so welcome. Nice meeting you.
Likewise.
Cool. All right, man. We'll see you later. Thank you. All right, yo, that was fun. You did great.
It was so fun. Thank you. I love this.
Yo, nah,
Let's do it
you
again.
need your
Let's
own
go.
podcast. You know, it can be lunchtime, lunch break with Leonelle, and have people call in during their lunch break and get some resume advice. Look, I got you. Let me be your agent for this, but I think you did great. You did awesome. I'm really glad you did this. I think it was a great opportunity for folks. So, um, hey, one thing I didn't get to ask you earlier or even mention, but I definitely want to like get it on camera because I know we talked about it before. So like peak recruiting season. Well,
Mhm.
I'll let you answer it. Like, when is peak recruiting season, and what should candidates be thinking or doing if they didn't get an internship or a job during that peak recruiting season?
Yeah, so peak recruiting season for traditional early career programs, so internships, full time roles, entry level. From a university recruiting standpoint, peak recruiting is August through October. So we were recruiting interns full time August through October 2023 for 2024 positions. That's not to say that, all companies are like that. There probably is a little bit of spring recruiting that happens. We probably won't be doing any spring recruiting, but it does vary on the major. So I will say more STEM fields are going to be that August to October peak recruiting. More of your liberal arts, medical type fields would be more in the spring. So just knowing that difference is key. Um, Also, if you're not looking for the traditional early career route as far as university recruiting, and you're looking for entry level roles, we see a peak in those being posted around the February and March timeframe. This time of year, with the holidays, recruiting does slow down simply because if you think about a recruiting schedule, there's a recruiter, there's a hiring manager, there's an interview panel. People not trying to work in December. So you'll see jobs usually pick back up in the first quarter of a new year. The job postings will pick up in the first quarter of the new year.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I appreciate that advice. I mean, that's something that I don't think everybody always understands when they're in college, but I mean, it's definitely
Yeah.
important to know like when are the opportunities going to be there so that you can make sure you're prepared and you're looking for them. And just
Yes.
aware of like when those timelines are. And I know one thing that really caught my attention is that like, hey, if you don't get a job right now, you still need to be like fostering those relationships and building those relationships with recruiters, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I actually during this session got an email from a colleague at work who knows some college students who he thinks would be great for the internship program. Well, our internship program is full, but I will still reach out to them and work with them on what they can do next. It may be at this point they may be looking for full time because they missed the internship program, but just responding to them, giving them that information is always key. And I haven't found any company or any recruiter who won't do that.
Yeah. Now, I think I was kind of surprised when you told me like not everybody shows up for the internship.
They
So
don't show up. They don't do, the people will go like, drug tests are hard to pass now. I don't know what's going on.
look,
Or life situations happen, or they get a better offer, whatever the case may be, so
yeah,
but yeah, people don't show up. It's bizarre.
yeah. And so, do you guys let other people come into those slots if they're open and available? Like, let's say somebody didn't show up for an internship, but I applied for that same internship and I didn't get accepted the first round. But would you potentially follow up with me second go around and be like, "Hey, here's an opening"?
We could, depend on the timing. If like
Okay.
it's like day one and the people don't show up, that's a little late. But if we know ahead of time, we can potentially work something out. Absolutely.
Okay, that's a great
Yeah.
point.
I will say
Look,
we probably won't. I know we don't reopen. We will once you've applied, you're kind of in this bank, in this pool. So
okay.
that's why I say apply, apply, apply. Don't look for a new job posting, but if you've applied before, we have that relationship, we have that contact information to reach out.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, I'm a sneak one thing in here. I had a young lady. I really wanted her to connect with you, but she wasn't able to join the call.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I wanted her to connect with you is because I do know, like from talking to you, that you guys do have like some openings in the accounting space.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
want you to do one last resume review for me, real quick,
Okay.
before we
All
go.
right. I can do that.
All right, now I'll let you take it from there.
Okay. Scroll for me. All right, keep scrolling. Okay, just a few things. Formatting's a little bit off. If we scroll down to the professional experience, like some dates are to the far right. Taco Bell is not. I would actually remove Taco Bell
Oh,
and
yeah,
just
I
keep
gotcha.
the rotational analyst intern and the financial services representative. Beef up the verbs, right? So advise members on how to apply for various loans. Well, what all does that involve? Like, so right now it does read like a job description. So let's
Mm,
again talk about what was accomplished. So um you know you're developing, so I like that it is present tense, but talk a little bit more like how many members is that on a daily basis, how do you sustain those relationships, that kind of thing. Same with the rotational analyst intern, accountable for various learning. I would change that to some sort of bullet point, and it may was supposed to be, but like there's two bullet points underneath. So love implemented innovative strategies to increase operational efficiency. That's a great bullet point. So rewording that top one that's not a bullet point to hit on data entry, data analytics, and what was the outcome of that. And then at the IT toolbox. So with Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all of that, that's a given, especially if you're an accounting major looking for accounting. Think about if there's other things that you have. So is it something specific within Excel? So do you do Power Pivot, pivot tables, formulas, functions, anything else, Microsoft, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate? If not, I would leave the IT toolbox section off because it just lists the Office suite. And
gotcha.
if you scroll back up, just a few comments on the education, academic awards, and membership. Because everything seems to be related to academics or to education, I would just call that section education, but I
Mm,
would flip it with core expertise because again, that graduation date's 2021. So let's move core expertise up first. under the introductory paragraph, and education second. Education actually should change my mind. Education should be under professional experience.
Okay.
And then motivated recent accounting graduate, I would pull that off. I would say motivated professional with expertise in financial analyst. All of that's really strong because there's no pronouns. Just take out the recent accounting graduate.
Gotcha.
You can say accounting professional, and then you don't need the green at the top. Just call that, like the other section headings, it could be professional summary.
Cool.
I feel like that was a lot. But format is great. I like the format. The blacking out of the name, just making sure it's your name, email, and phone number is all you need. People don't need to know where you live.
Yeah, and I don't know where that whole putting an address in the resume thing came from.
I
but
know, like who's mailing you stuff? Who is driving by your house? Who
people
is
putting
doing
whole
that?
addresses on stuff and then like sending it to me. And I'm like, y'all gotta be more careful with your information,
Yeah.
just from a security standpoint. Like nobody
Got
needs
your-
to know all of this. But
your zip code and the 4-digit code. My goodness, no, we don't
they
need
give you
that.
everything you need, honestly, because it's like previous work locations, everything. You can like, come on, y'all gotta be more careful. But
be more careful. Yes.
But nah, I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, I think it's I think we had a good variety of like resumes. You know,
We
that
did,
last one was
yeah.
an accounting one. I think a lot of it is format. The biggest summary, if I kind of summarize from like me watching you do this, is like get to the point. And I love the way you put it, where it's like, yo, punch the recruiter in the face with like what you trying to get across, like
Yes.
highly professional person, data analytics,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And like the same thing with like skills. And I think that goes to
Yeah.
the point you were making, where like if you're looking for a full-time job, don't give me your education first. I already know you have a degree. Like
Yeah.
get to the point of like what skills, what value you're gonna add to my organization. And so I think that's kind of like the biggest takeaway I've kind of had from this. It just reiterates, like, I think I heard recruiters spend like 7 seconds per resume.
Yeah.
And so I need to be able to like quickly skim, boom, 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 and like
Yep.
be able to see what's going on without having to dig for stuff. So
Exactly. Yep.
good stuff. Hey, this was a lot of fun. I want to do it
This
again
is
at
so
some point.
fun.
But
Yeah, next time I'm gonna come down to Houston. We're gonna do it in person.
hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay,
Look, we're gonna do it.
alright.
We can have like mock interviews, have people lined up outside the
We
door,
have some ferns, some plants.
everything.
We'll have all
All right, look, let's line it up. Let me know next time you're in the city. We'll make it happen.
We'll do. Well, thank you so
Cool.
much for having me as a guest.
No problem. I appreciate you. It was a lot of fun. To those of you who watched, I really appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed this different episode. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, getting your resume reviewed, I have a link in the description. Make sure you complete that survey. Also, if you're a recruiter or hiring manager and you want to come on the show and take Leonelle's seat, see if you know you can outdo her. Go ahead, hit me up in the DMs. I'm on LinkedIn. Reach out. I'll be more than happy to talk more about how we can potentially collaborate on something. But that's it for this episode. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.